Good morning, everybody. I want to thank you all for being with us today in Kansas City. I want to thank my colleagues from the Kansas City City Council, City Manager Brian Platt, and a number of others who are here to recognize what is a momentous occasion and day for Kansas City. Before I was actually at this function, I was visiting with regional leaders from the city of Fort Worth, Texas, the mayor, Matty Parker, and others who wanted to be like Kansas City on how we invest in infrastructure and transportation. For any of us who are from Kansas City, that is an amazing statement. And it speaks to years of commitment, years of work that we have done to make sure that this is a city where no matter how you traverse our city, it's one that you can get to where you need to be, where you can be safe, and more than anything, where we're investing in the future of our community for all in Kansas City. Today, we're going to be announcing something that allows us, I think, to move to the next phase of transportation and infrastructure development. And that is actually figuring out how we can get things done. Every mayor, every council member, every city has an almost endless wish list of projects and ideas. The biggest challenge usually is, how are we going to pay for it? Today, working with the United States Department of Transportation and the Build America Bureau, we have found a way to do that. And as part of that, we're being incredibly ambitious with $15 billion worth of projects that can reform and reshape Kansas City. A few thank yous that I want to start off by noting. First, to our partners in USDOT. Ever since we started meeting with you, you have listened, you've worked with us, you've told us how to be better, you've told us how to lay out a true infrastructure program long term. We thank you for that cooperation, and we look forward to that collaboration, not just for years ahead, but for generations ahead. My friends from Accelerator for America are here, a national do tank rather than think tank that does the work to make sure that we're implementing, not just receiving federal funds, but actually doing that hard work, not just in Kansas City, but in every American city, of how do we make sure that those dollars are getting used to better all of us in America's cities. And our outstanding city staff, Michael Shaw, Brian Platt, Jason Waldron, so many others, who every day have been working over the years largely with tight resources to make sure that we're still doing the basics we need to each day. Still filling potholes, of course, still addressing resurfacing long term, but also being visionaries on what the future of this city can look like. And also my colleagues on City Council. The list of projects that we have identified today are projects that we have talked about for some time. Reconnecting communities, I-35 on the west side. Reconnecting communities on 71 Highway through the 5th District and the 3rd City Council districts in Kansas City. Looking at how we can re-envision the Blue River Corridor, an area that has been underinvested for probably 50 years. We are making that difference. I am a somewhat young mayor, but sometimes I do remember things. And one of the things I remember when I was growing up was when, and I think Councilman Curls, you know this too, I'd have family members who talked about when the General Motors plant was here in Kansas City, Missouri. Talk about all the jobs and the opportunities that existed right there, and how in the decades since, we've largely left it empty. We haven't seen the resources, we haven't seen the investment. This project, this investment allows us to do it. So, a few things about the particular details, and then we bring on the real experts to tell you about what this program is all about. I'm thrilled to announce, fundamentally, that Kansas City and the United States Department of Transportation will enter into an emerging projects partnership to build a financing and funding package estimated at $15 billion to continue exploring several exciting infrastructure improvements in every area of Kansas City. Each project is transformational, providing mobility and connectivity options that can serve our city for generations. Through this partnership, we will explore opportunities that may include low interest rate financing and technical assistance grants that allow us to explore innovative solutions and best practices to advance projects that benefit our communities. This partnership with Build America is focused on reconnecting communities that have been torn apart, cut off from opportunity, and burdened by past transportation infrastructure decisions. Time and time again, we have seen the construction of highways that disproportionately harm communities of color, displacing families like my own, cutting residents off from resources and opportunities, or exposing children and families to the negative environmental impacts of highways. The projects in the Emerging Projects Partnership include reconnecting the east side alongside Highway 71, reconnecting the west side neighborhood, bi-state east-west streetcar expansion, connect those on the east side with opportunities downtown and across state lines, and my real dream, making sure somebody who's going from the VA hospital to the University of Kansas Hospital has a way to get there efficiently and effectively. Continued implementation of Vision Zero, And thank you, Councilman Bunch, for your work in making sure that we've been adopting that initiative, working on that even before he was in elected office, and funding of bridge repairs across Kansas City. And ultimately, looking at a fixed rail line from the airport to downtown Kansas City, but more importantly, making sure that our public transportation conversation isn't just a south of the river discussion, but as Councilman O'Neill has implored us for years, making sure it's something that helps benefit, helps strengthen the Northland and all of Kansas City. Some of these projects are already in motion, and we look forward to working with Build America Bureau to ensure we can keep up the momentum and deliver transformational projects quicker. Imagine what can happen after this. A child who lives on 55th and South Benton, which is coincidentally where my mother grew up, doesn't have to suffer asthma any longer disproportionately because we mitigate pollution on Highway 71. Think about the traffic calming measures that we can put in throughout the city, the trees that we'll plant and the infrastructure that we can build. Imagine in Kansas City where black-owned businesses are flourishing along Prospect Avenue because we've finally done the work not just to have infrastructure that cuts through, but infrastructure that supports community. No matter where you live in Kansas City, you deserve to be able to safely and efficiently travel to access healthcare, education, employment, or entertainment. And this city council, this mayor, this city, and thanks to the help of our friends in the federal government, we are all committed to making that happen. This is a culmination of efforts from many and is just at the beginning. I want to thank Secretary Buttigieg, the President of the United States, Congress, and so many others who help us have this program. And I particularly want to thank the head of the Build America Bureau, Dr. Morteza Farajian, who's here with us today to talk about what this project means, what we can build, and the important investment that's occurring in Kansas City. Dr. Farajian, we welcome you.
Well, good morning, everyone. And thanks for having us here in your beautiful city. I have been here 2 times in the last couple of months, and I can tell you that every time I go back home, for days or probably weeks or months, I remember the taste of your delicious barbecue here. So thanks for that great taste that every time I come here, experience it. I would love to come back here more often, and it does look like that now we have a great partnership that's going to bring me back here more often. So on behalf of U.S. Department of Transportation, the Build America Bureau is proud to be here to partner with you and your team, Mr. Mayor, to sign this emerging project agreement and formally start this partnership. We have had many meetings over the last couple of months, last couple of weeks in particular. Our teams have worked very closely with each other to get us to where we are today to make this announcement. It's an exciting time for us because this is the second time that we are signing emerging project agreement with the city. Especially that the $15 billion package that you mentioned, Mr. Mayor, it's an amazing package. It is highly aligned with a lot of priorities that USDOT has. Our strategic goals and objectives are aligned. We're going to work together to get those projects to fruition. These projects, nine projects that we have in the package of $15 billion, they touch 4 different counties, and of course they're all important for Kansas City. We understand that. In the workshop that we had with you in August, we talked in detail about these projects. My team was here, my experts were here. They talked about each one of those projects to make sure that these are real projects. These are projects that have a chance to move forward because we are going to allocate resources. We are going to work very closely with you and your team to advance these projects from ideas, from concepts to fruition. And you mentioned that, I love that phrase, that this is not a think tank, especially for our friends in Accelerator for America. This is a do tank, and we would love to be part of that. The partnership will advance infrastructure to strengthen the transportation network and supply chain resiliency across 4 counties in this area, as I mentioned earlier. There will be a lot of stakeholder engagement. I understand that you have already had significant stakeholder engagement in those meetings that we had together, the workshops. You walked us through some of the work that you have already done. It does look like that you have created a very good foundation for what we are going to work together on. Moving forward, Build America Bureau is going to provide all the tools that we have in our toolbox, whether it's technical assistance that we can provide directly in-house or technical assistance grant programs that we have that you can take advantage of. And of course, the goal is to help you explore innovative solutions, explore innovative concepts, innovative funding and financing solutions that together we can come up with to get these projects to construction and hopefully complete them years ahead of time, so citizens here, the communities here, can take advantage of these projects and benefit from them. The critical and complicated program of projects, as I mentioned earlier, would enhance transportation mobility, resiliency, affordability, and safety. And those are very important for us, and we are proud to be here today and partner with you, because we do believe that together we can make this program happen. It's not easy. I don't want to create that expectation for everyone. Those of us who have worked on complicated programs like the one that you have here understand that it's not something that can be done over one night or a week or a month or even a year. It is a program of projects that takes a lot of partners from federal level to state level to local level. And all the stakeholders who are going to be engaged throughout this process. And hopefully this strong partnership is going to create a win-win scenario that all of us can roll up our sleeves, work together, and bring these projects to fruition. So you mentioned all these good projects. I'm not going to mention them again, but also want to mention that this is just the beginning of this journey. So the list that we have in front of us are the projects that we are working on them today, but that doesn't mean that this is going to be the ultimate list. This is just the beginning of this journey. Thank you to have us as a partner in this journey with you. My team is dedicated to help you advance these projects to the next phase. And I want to finally thank for this opportunity, because without our local partners, we would not be able to make these projects happen. And I'm glad that Build America Bureau, as a special unit within the Department of Transportation, is able to form these partnerships at local level and advance these great projects, transformative projects, forward. Thank you very much again to have you here.
I wanted to note just a few other things briefly, and we'll bring up a few more speakers. Just yesterday, Kansas City received a recognition from the United States Department of Commerce, the Economic Development Administration, that we are one of 31 tech hubs in the United States out of more than 300 cities that applied. That creates an opportunity for up to $75 million of federal funding to help build biomanufacturing in Kansas City and our surrounding region. We continue to get great recognition from the administration, not just because of the dynamic work that's being done each day in the city by private enterprise, but also by so many on our city staff and at City Hall. Thank you so much for putting us in the position to take advantage of these opportunities. We look forward to even more. And for Kansas City, winning doesn't just mean football games or World Cup bids or everything under the sun that's happening lately. It's also about building great opportunities like this for our future. We appreciate the recognition, and we love the collaboration we have with the United States government. Somebody who's going to be in charge and making sure that we pick the right projects, do the right things, and figure it all out and how it gets done is Councilman Kevin O'Neill, the chair of our Transportation, Infrastructure, and Operations Committee. Councilman O'Neill, I'd love for you to come up if you have any words to say. If not, you don't. Okay. That's fine.
I never follow you.
He said no. We're in Councilman Bunch's district. We'll come to Councilman Bunch next.
I should have said no as well. But just what everyone wanted was more speakers. Hi, I'm Eric Bunch, representing the 4th District, and I'm excited to be here today. This is a really interesting and exciting time for Kansas City. A few things to think about, and maybe 3 or 4 reasons. I've lost count of how many reasons this is potentially a really good thing for Kansas City. One is that the term reconnecting communities, reconnecting Kansas City is an important one. And I was just in Minneapolis, St. Paul last week at a conference for reconnecting communities. And it's a really exciting opportunity for us in this case to leverage further resources to mitigate or even completely undo the harmful ill effects of urban freeways. We know that our communities, especially our Black and brown communities, have been disproportionately affected by those urban freeways. This is an opportunity to really rethink that and come back in and reconnect those communities. The name is not something that we take lightly, and it's a very exciting opportunity for us. Secondly, because of this kind of unique financing opportunity, it's going to force us to leverage other funding. So find other opportunities of funding with the U.S. Department of Transportation through Reconnecting Communities or RAISE or otherwise, opportunities to really bring in more dollars to Kansas City to completely reinvest and reconnect the communities. And invest in things like rail, like sidewalks, like basic infrastructure and Vision Zero, and things that we all hold near and dear to our hearts. And thirdly, it's going to force us to be more futuristic and big picture thinking. We can't shy away from the big ideas, but we also have to lean in hard to long range planning and think about what does the city of Kansas City, what does the future of Kansas City really hold for us. So with this type of program, we're thinking big. This is a big opportunity to invest potentially $15 billion into the community. Let's think big and let's think long term and really lean into long-range planning. So I'm really excited to be here. Excited to be in Kansas City at this time and be in this position and serve with a few of my colleagues on the TI&O committee. Kevin O'Neill is the chair. Councilwoman Lindsay French also in the committee. So really exciting times. So thank you so much, and good to meet you, and we'll see you around.
And we won't go forever in saying things about each person, but Councilman Bunch is humble in noting and not noting the fact that he has been working on this for his professional life, largely. And a lot of the progress we have, particularly as to Vision Zero, is thanks to the work that he was doing in the 20-teens, the early 20-teens, to make sure that we're even cognizant of these issues. I don't want to be wrong again, but I believe Councilman Curls did want to share a few words.
I will.
Yes.
I won't be like Kim.
I'm not afraid to come behind you, Mayor. Good morning. My name is Darrell Curls, City Council, 5th District at large, and I just want to share a few thoughts with you. First of all, I'd like to thank the mayor and the city manager and the staff and the Department of Transportation in regards to this partnership that we're entering into, because I believe that this is something that's going to be quite beneficial for the city. I mean, it is looking at connectivity and mobility throughout the city, and that is something that is very needed through our city. As the mayor mentioned, in the 5th District, we had a highway come through that disenfranchised and took away neighborhoods and communities. And being a board president of a neighborhood association, I understand and know what those individuals went through when that happened. They are still concerned about some of that stuff, some of the health issues that have arisen from that, some of the safety concerns that are that have taken place due to that highway going through there. So I think that this is a good program. I support it wholeheartedly. I look forward to those projects taking place. I know this is, like you said, this is not something that's going to happen overnight. It's going to be long-term, and I'm going to share with the residents that it's something coming, but be patient, and it's something that we can look forward to. So thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to working with my colleagues, the mayor and the city manager, to implementing these programs as they come about. So have a good day, and thank you all.
I also want to make sure I recognize another member of the Transportation Infrastructure and Operations Committee, Councilwoman Lindsay French. I know you're not speaking either, you don't wish to. That's fine. I'm making sure I'm not just calling on people. I was a law professor before I was in this business, so I occasionally will do that. I do believe we will close just talking a little bit about staff implementation. Director Shaw, could you just talk about how we look forward to working together, the work you all are already doing, and of course, outstanding work by Kansas City Public Works in helping build the future. Director Michael Shaw, Public Works.
Look at that. Manager Platt, tell us what we're going to do. So we'll look over there. Yes, no. Good morning. My name is Michael Shaw, the Director of Public Works. We've started on a lot of these projects already, and all the things that we've talked about, and from a staff perspective, it's great to see our leadership actually leading the way and not just saying, yeah, it's a good idea, but actually trying to collaborate and actually try to make these things happen. And I love the terminology do tank, because that is what Kansas City is. It is a do tank. And so that being said, we've already started with some raised grants that we received, looking at reconnecting communities, a vital issue here in Kansas City. Even with the reconstruction and collaborating with Missouri Department of Transportation with 71 Highway, looking at how to redo that in order to help bridge gaps between the Black and brown communities that have been affected by the highways in Kansas City. And then beyond that, Vision Zero, we've been well down the road of doing things in Vision Zero, so it's super exciting to see even more resources to do this. We want Kansas City to be known as that place where you can come, work, play, and stay safely. Beyond that, we have a super fantastic team led by our Director of Transportation, Jason Waldron, who is really the brainiac behind a lot of our solutions in public works related to transportation. And him and his team has done a fantastic job of delivering projects on time, on task, and on budget, which we extremely, which bodes very well to know that when the United States Department of Transportation invests in Kansas City, we will get it done. We will get it done. And so with that being said, I would just like to say thank you to our leadership, and we're ready to work.
At this time, we are almost done. I do want to ask Dr. Farajian to come back up. We'll sign the Emerging Projects Partnership for the city and the United States Department of Transportation, and then we'll stick around for any questions.